Hey guys and gals, Hurricane Elsa is at full strength here in Naples, Florida. As you can see, this is about, I think all we're gonna get is just some rain and a lot of wind. And right now we're in between one of the waves, and maybe while I'm making this video, which will be short, you'll see another wave come through. See how it's starting to pick up here? And yeah, there you go. You can notice the rain. Ooh, yeah. So I want to do an update about my visit to my oncologist today, and hopefully you'll find this has some value in it for you. If you noticed, after the chemotherapy I did today, my voice has even changed. If you follow my videos on YouTube or here, I post a lot of stuff, video stuff on here as well. I think what happens is the body uses a lot of strength to, as your immune system works, to fight off the toxins that are entering your body through chemotherapy, which is one of the downsides. It affects the good stuff too. So mainly the immune system, it's knocking that out, and that's a concern. Couple things I'm doing for that is loading up on probiotics and also my prebiotics that I've talked about before that I take. So one thing that is unfortunate is today I had some melatonin coming in, the powdered form that I really wanted to start using and measuring and watching my blood numbers and seeing what happens there. So as an experimentation, right? They say there's this brand new study out, matter of fact, this year, with melatonin and the type of cancer that I have, which is biliary cancer, cancer of gallbladder. It's one of the most aggressive and crazy types of cancer. But anyway, let me talk about the meeting I had with the doctor today. I'm sipping my giant-sized coffee because I didn't have coffee there. And you know how much I love coffee. So not to take up too much of your time, sorry about this, but I went in there, had my questions. Remember I told you that I was gonna have a lot of questions for him to find out what's going on. I asked, we've done all this imaging, where am I at with this thing? And he said that with the imaging, it shows that actually the tumor has shrunk, which is yay, it's a big deal for me. And that the shadows that were showing up on my abdomen are gone. And that then my next thing was, where are we going with the chemotherapy? Is it curative, what you're doing? Or are you just, adding a couple months onto my life? What's the deal? He says that it is, he's doing a therapy that is for curative because of, the numbers, my liver enzymes, my blood work, all the markers that are used to show if you're getting better or worse or whatever, they're all going down. He showed me the trends. I was like, man, I was literally, when I started this thing back in March, was off the charts as far as, the numbers to see, how well you're doing in a certain area. And my liver enzymes were like really high. Now they're almost normal, which is incredible. And then all the other, markers that they use too. On this particular blood test that I did today, I asked for, and they did do that CA19-9, which is a tumor marker for my type of cancer. And that doesn't come out like right away, so I don't have that. He says it takes a couple days, so we'll have that pretty soon up in my patient portal. And then I can compare. I know when I was first diagnosed that particular number, which is a tumor marker, was like, it was way up there, like way up there. What I mean, like you're supposed to have a 0.5, and I think mine was like a 600 or something, you know. So all good news all around. I'm so super happy. So the next thing I did is I asked, can we, since we're doing so well here, Mr. Oncologist, can we reduce the level? Can we reduce the prescription level of the chemo drugs that we're using? And his answer was, well, Dave, you know, your blood work is so super clean and super fine. It looks like you are able to, sustain the chemo drugs that we're using. You know, you're able to do it well. I mean, everything is in range, which means your body is accommodating this type of therapy. You know, it's my like little form of whining because, first of all, my belief is you don't want to use too much of the drug if you don't need it. You know, it's just more toxins in the body, and the body's overloaded anyway with tons of stuff to do. And then secondly, if there's some other kind of thing you can do in conjunction with the chemotherapy, then that is a very good reason to lower it. So he said, let's go 2 more sessions with this chemo at the level it's at, which is, it's not maximum, I found out. It's I think my Abraxane is at 100 milligrams. So, and then I think the max dosage is 125. So I'm right below the top level, but he showed me, he knows I love paperwork. This is the cool thing about this oncologist. He knows that I love looking at the data. So he actually printed out for me a scientific study, which, I mean, who does that? Oncologists for their patients. Maybe they do, I don't know. This is the first oncologist I ever had, but I've, in my tiny time I've had with oncologists, I have not seen this, nor have I heard from anybody else getting a scientific, PubMed paper from their oncologist. But he printed something out showing how the therapy he is using with the 3 chemo drugs and the time frame that he's doing it in is something that's been shown to be very, very effective in my type of cancer, which makes me happy because it shows that he is doing his part. I know I'm doing my part with the diet and such, so that's all a good thing. And to know that the Abraxane was it wasn't really approved by the FDA. It was still like considered in an experimental, I think it was, what do they call it? Stage 2, category 2 or whatever. So we weren't even sure if we were going to get the approval from United Healthcare, but we did. So that's good. Okay, so 2 more of these sessions with this heavy duty stuff, and then another MRI. And then this MRI is actually going to do like a real comparison. It's going to be done at the same place so we can download data, this is his words, and just look at the 2 side by side and see, hey, here's the picture you had back in, when did I do that? June, I guess, yeah, last month. And then one from, I suppose it'll be the end of this month, all right? So all good news from him. He answered all my questions. You guys know that I have a new gastroenterologist, Dr. Bacher, who is specialized in doing the EUS, which is a form of ultrasound, ultrasonic way to go down and do a ERCP, which is where they put the stuff down your mouth, right? All the cameras and wires and cables. The way I imagine it is they take something like this big around and jam it down your throat. That's my dream in my head. That's why I always tell them when I go into the hospital, I don't even want to know it ever happened. Just show me the results. So I've had 2 of them done where they put the temporary stents in. This stent is going to be permanent. I don't know how it differs. That's something I would like to know. I know these ones are plastic, and I think the one that's going in, that's a concern too. If it's going to be metallic, I have to tell the guys, the TSA guys at the airport, yeah, I do have something metal in my chest, you know. It's I'm cyborg, or whatever, what do you call it? Bionic. Remember the $6 million man? Okay, that's getting off into another subject. But when he does this procedure, Dr. Bacher, on the 13th of this month, which is July, if you're watching this, July 2021, he is also going to do like small type of biopsies, because with his ultrasound thing, now this is something that's never been done before on me. The other one was with the other gastroenterologist, was a camera, which when you're up against a wall of flesh here, I can't see anymore what's going on behind this, right? But with this ultrasound, you can see through tissues by the echoes. The way I understand it, if I'm wrong on this, please, in the comments, let me know, okay? But that's the way he explained it to me. That's the way I think it works. So it's better because you can see more, and he can see this tumor and what it's doing. And if it's in a certain part, he can take So my question today to the oncologist, woo, we're blowing again, was, when you're poking around, because I heard this from Dr. Thomas Seyfried, saying, he's not in favor of biopsies because could be spreading tumor cells. When you're in there next to a cancerous tumor and you're like messing with it, like taking little bites with some kind of instrument, is there a possibility of spreading this cancer in places that we don't want it, which is no place, right? And he said, not with this type of procedure. With a needle, there is that possibility, and also in some of the other cancers, it's not really recommended to do this kind of thing. But in your type of cancer, now, I'm pretty sure he's correct. I'm not sure he's just blowing smoke, but, this is a place where you have to really start trusting, because the procedure is going to happen. And you can say you don't want it, and then they won't do it as far as the biopsy thing goes. But my oncologist today said, Dave, the more data we get on this guy, the tumor, the better. You know what I feel like? What's the name of that meteorologist on the Weather Channel that's always out there in the, with the microphone out there in the hurricanes? Yeah. So we want more data. Got another MRI coming up, which is more data. When we get all this data, we talked about the next step. Okay, what's the next step? So he's, in close contact with one of the top guys, which I answered a tweet today. Somebody was like questioning, me as just a person. How am I giving out all this information on the internet? And I do have a couple of people up at Moffitt, which are top notch in their area, and they are standard of care, conventional care guys. However, one of them, Dr. Kim up there, is totally on board with what I'm doing as far as my therapy, my protocol, my thing. So I have him. I have my oncologist here in Naples who said, the only thing I want you to do is, make sure you're not like going to be losing weight on this diet thing, but everything else you're doing, it looks like it's working, so it made me really happy. So, you can't go out there on any social media and condone somebody when the results are positive for that person. Everybody has an opinion, and you have to respect that. And don't be name calling people, okay? If somebody's doing something, don't call them a charlatan or somebody that's spreading misinformation. We just don't know everything that's going on in this body, right? We don't know everything. If we did, cancer numbers would not be as crazy as they are here in the United States, or other metabolic diseases, diabetes, all this stuff that we always talk about wouldn't be like such a huge thing if we knew how this thing works totally without question. And nobody is a big giant sized authority on anything. So, right? So everybody has an opinion, and you just do what works for you. The reason why I put stuff out on the internet is because it may help somebody. It may you don't have to do exactly what I do, but if you start on a path of some kind, you start getting more focused, and you start getting more organized, and you start getting your life into more of a routine that is helpful to you, instead of going down a million rabbit holes. Even standard of care, that's one reason why so many people love whatever the doctor says standard of care, because you don't have to go through this research and thinking, and you just leave all of your advocacy to somebody else. It's like you give your power away to that person, and then you're left with whatever, did it work or not? Matter of fact, that was one of my questions to the doctor this morning was, have you treated my form of cancer, and using these chemos that you're sending me through, was it successful? Did you have success in this? His answer is that you're the first one I've done with Abraxane, but with my other methodologies, the other drugs I've used, yes, I've had, success with it. People have actually had better lives, and regressions even. So that, it's stuff that made me super happy hearing that. So the next step is to go up to Moffitt and have some sessions up there with Dr. Kim, possibly do another scan up there, another CT scan, and have them look over it with their eyes. And then from there, he talked about doing a robotic, this is kind of crazy, a robotic type surgery, not surgery, well, it is surgery, where they would go in with these robotic things. It does require entering the body, but in a super lower invasive way, where they put these, look at that, the cameras in there. And I'm thinking cameras that must have to be an incision that's big enough to get a camera through. I know cameras are very, very tiny, because I'm using one right now to make this video. And the aperture on the camera is probably a little bit bigger than the size of a, I don't know, what would you say? The size of a, I don't know, very, very small stick. Teeny thing, right? So it can be done, I understand, and these things they do all the time. Don't have hurricane shutters up here. Wow. Now, what way are we facing? That's due east. Okay? Due east. We're looking. So what we're seeing is the hurricane is that way. It's out in the Gulf. Gulf is due west. And then we're seeing the bands come around here, and they're going north, right? Sweeping the wind up, as this thing's turning counterclockwise through the Gulf of Mexico. Wait a minute. Pretty sure is it counterclockwise in this hemisphere? I don't know. But I know it's blowing wind from the south, okay? So it's doing something. Pretty sure that's going counterclockwise. If it's not, who cares? It's still bringing wind and tons of water. So when I heard this about the artificial intelligence, not artificial intelligence, what is it? It's like robotic surgery, which I know they're getting so good at, and a lot better than, people going in there with hands like this and oops and whatever. These things go in, do their thing. They're controlled by a computer, and then come out, and usually you mend pretty quick. Why? Because it takes less of an incision to do this kind of work. That's my understanding, okay? And I believe, and I've always believed, even before I was diagnosed with this creepy thing I have, is that anytime you go into the body and offend it, you're going to have some kind of reaction, right? That's why inflammation happens. That's why all these other things happen. The body just doesn't like to be fiddled with knives and stuff, you know. It wants to, its main deal is to heal itself. Its main deal is to keep you alive. So even this cancer that I have was a reaction to trying to keep me alive. And, these cells formed because the environment, as far as I understand, could have been perfect for them, right? So, I'm still here, woke up today. I'm grateful for another day. But that's as far as it goes, guys. Thanks for hanging around for the update. No, it's been long, but I had to tell you all that. All good news. And then he did talk about after we see if the cancer's down to where it's like, small and like we can go in and get rid of it, that's what we'll do. But he wants to have a really good look at it with the computer-controlled surgery, which, man, I don't, how does that work? I wonder if they strap you to the operational table as you're out. You're strapped so there's no part of you that can, because you're moving around during this thing, which I guess you wouldn't be if you're out, but you do breathe and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. But I know they know what they're doing because it's offered even with open heart surgery now. They do a lot of that stuff with computers. It's crazy where we're going with all this stuff, right? But it's amazing, and I'm thank God for it. Very grateful that we have the technology available to us. Yeah. Hey guys, thanks so much for supporting me. You don't know what that means to me. It means the world, and it's just amazing that I believe in my heart. I have my toolkit of supplements down there. I have the conventional care of the chemotherapy. It's another part of it. You guys know just by watching me and my videos, my crazy videos I put out, that I do my part of this. All of these things, that's why I say in my protocol is made up like a framework, because you have these things. Your toolkit of supplements, your lifestyle, which mine includes meditation, keeping the mindset correct, and exercise, which I believe is so important. Another part of the framework is your hygiene. That's a crazy word to use for it, but the hygiene of sleeping. Your sleep is just huge, right? In healing anything. And then part of the health part, which could be, I have it in its own frame because I believe it's important in the way you do it, and that is getting sunlight when you can, depending on where you live. Lots of vitamin D, and the most natural way you can get it. And then another part is you guys. It's the circle of friends. It's that circle of support. It's, the love and the good vibes and the prayers, and all of that part is just so freaking important. So what I want to say with all that is that each one of these things is just as important as the other. The conventional care that I get with the crazy toxins they put in me, which I sincerely believe do affect those cancer cells, is just as important as my circle of friends, you guys, the supporters, you guys that support me. That you guys supporting me is just as important as all the supplements I take. You guys supporting me is just as important as my exercise, just as important as my meditation, just as important as my list of stuff that I call my protocol, which, as you can see, has really helped me. So consider yourself as strong as any medication, as strong as any part of this therapy that I'm doing, and without it, there would be this gap, this emptiness, this hole. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for supporting the YouTube channel. Thanks for supporting me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the social platforms. My mission is to get the word out, to help somebody else that may be going through the same thing. If you know a friend, direct them to one of the social platforms that I'm on and have them follow me, because I think it's important that you get organized. Time is of the essence. Cancer does not take a day off. So every moment is vital. And there's room for everything. I mean, the medication and oncologist and standard of care is important. You can't just say, that whole branch is crazy, we shouldn't follow that. I mean, some people do pull the plug on conventional care, and that's your choice, But I choose this synergistic approach, which to me is working. My blood work shows I can tolerate all this stuff, even though it makes my voice funny and my hair fall out and lose weight sometimes, but it does have a part. All of these things, I believe, creates a circle that's all important. The spokes on this wheel is all important. Now I'm starting to preach, aren't I? I should do a video just on that. Guys, thanks so much, and we'll see you on the next video, and thanks for all that you do, all of this, I was going to say all the support again, but I've said that 1,000 times. I mean, that shows you how much I really mean it. Love you guys. Catch you again real soon.